Well, after grabbing a quick look through the shit sheets, I realised there was nothing about Begum, so here we go. Victoria Begum. Play them at their own game. Brexit. An attempt by the elite to avoid the European Anti-Tax Avoidance Directive. It's all smoke and mirrors, they're all working to the same agenda. The police are now using force at peaceful protest. Stand against police brutality. Facebook Yellow Vest United Kingdom fighting for justice. No more violence. Justice for all. The police are just as bad whichever country you're in. The UK, France, America, Australia. They're all working to the same agenda. Cause as much disruption as you can. Disrupt peaceful protests. Cause violence if you can. And arrest anyone you can. Just make up some shit. Call it breach of the peace and arrest them for that. Because that's what they're doing all over the world. Because it's not just not just little France or England or Britain or UK or this island or America or Canada. It's all over the world. The same shit's going on at the same time. And that's because they're all working to the same agenda. Depopulate the planet of us. Time we turned that back on them and depopulated the planet of them. Vaxxed. From cover-up to catastrophe. The system is starting to crack. Let's finish it off. Vote for nobody. Nobody will keep election promises. Nobody will listen to your concerns. Nobody will help the poor and destitute. Nobody cares about you and your family. Nobody tells the truth. If you don't stand up for others when their rights are being trampled, who will stand up for you when it's your rights that are trampled? Goes back to the age-old thing. First they came for the blacks and I said nothing because I wasn't black. Then they came for the Christians and I said nothing because I wasn't Christian. Then they came for me and there was no one left to say anything. That's what's going on. Russian TV exposes Rothschilds and educates people about their power. The Rothschilds, one of the most notorious, influential, criminal and secretive families in the world, has been exposed on Russian TV like never before. Watch the full video below. So the link will be in the description. Get there and watch it while you can before it gets removed. The Rothschilds are used to operating in the shadows, convincing people they do not exist, but they have been put under the spotlight in Russia in recent years as Vladimir Putin continues his campaign to eradicate their influence and control from his country. As I've said, a link in the description. I might even pop it up here. But go and watch it. Educate yourself while you can, because they are doing everything they can to dumb us down and stop us spreading the news about the corruption. The thing is, it's gone far too far now. More realise. I was in a pub the other night, and just at the bar, and this bloke next to us, just chatting. I said, if it was down to me, I'd hang the bleeding lot of them in Parliament. And he said, yep, I agree. I've never met this bloke before, so it's getting out to everyone. Everyone can see the corruption. But it's time now for us to pull together and end it. Speaking of corruption. As a job centre advisor, I got brownie points for cruelty. Miri O'Hara, former job centre advisor Angela Neville, has written a play to expose the harsh reality of the benefit sanctions regime. And it is a regime. Angela Neville, 48, is describing events she witnessed as a special advisor in a job centre that promoted her to write a play about her experiences. We were given lists of customers to call immediately and get them onto the work programme. She recalls, I said, I'm sorry, this can't happen. This man is in hospital. I was told by my boss, no, you've got to phone him and you've got to put this to him and he may be sanctioned. I said, I'm not doing it. Neville worked as an advisor in Braintree Job Centre, Essex for 4 years and has written a play with 2 collaborators, her friends Angela Howard and Jackie Howard, both of whom have helped advocate for unemployed people who were threatened with benefit sanctions by job centre staff. This is a government protocol. They are deliberately targeting the sick. They are trying to depopulate the planet of the sick, the young, the elderly. That only leaves the middle-aged with any chance, and unfortunately, if you've been watching my videos, that means you're going to be depopulated too, because you know what's going on. So spread the word, get it out to everyone. Now is the time to act for action. If we don't act now, we're going to be, well... Scientists say that starting work before 10 AM is similar to torture. Sounds about right. According to Dr. Paul Kelly, a scientist at the Oxford University, probably be suicided for saying it, his recent discovery is something that affects all people on the planet. Namely, he claims that waking up and going to work before 10 AM is one of the most common modern day tortures. Why is this so? Namely, he points out that we all have an internal body clock, i.e. the circadian rhythm. This is a pre-programmed clock which we cannot change, forcing ourselves to wake up earlier than our brain and organs is doing us more harm than good. When we do this, we are actually fighting against this internal and natural clock, and this could easily backfire and worsen our health. How is waking up before 10 AM affecting us? Dr. Kelly claims that insufficient sleep is an international issue, and this can have a negative impact on our overall health. When we wake up early and go to work early, we are more prone to physical and emotional stress. He tested the theory in a British school by introducing a change in the time of lessons started, i.e. they were moved from 8:30 to 10. It was concluded that after a specific period, the productivity and attendance of the students were much better, as well as their grades. Why do we continue to torture ourselves? We don't, it's the government. So let's pull together and end this evil torture that we've been under forever. Autism symptoms in pets rise as pet vaccinations rates rise. Don't kill your pets, because that's what you're doing if you're getting them vaccinated. Just as the incidence of autism spectrum disorder, ASDs, has risen alarmingly in children over the last half-century, there is evidence that similar behaviour disorders have been observed in pets, most widely reported among pet dogs. It is too early for mainstream veterinary authorities to confidently confirm that dogs can develop autism, but there are numerous reports of behaviour patterns in pets that mirror autism behaviour in children. Studies are underway to evaluate the possibility that animals can become autistic. However, if you stop vaccinating them, that won't happen. Autistic dogs behaviour recognising dogs. Though through the appearance of autism-like behaviours has been observed in dogs since the mid-1960s, the first research to specifically relate some of those behaviours to autism was Nicholas Dodman, DVM, who initially set out in 2011 to look for a genetic cause of obsessive tail chasing it in bull terriers. This behaviour characteristic has been observed in as many as 85% of bull terriers litter, and often results in self-harming. Stop vaccinating your animals, otherwise you are killing them, or you're letting the government kill them, because they don't give a shit about animals, humans, anything, as was said in Parliament by the treasonous bitch that needs a noose. Animals don't feel pain. Well, Mrs. May, as far as I'm concerned, you're an animal and so's your husband. So we'll test that theory out on you both. Mirror. Enders Lacey, my baby joy after agony of miscarriage. Scandal of morgue blunders. Bereaved families left stunned as bodies are damaged, mixed up or misplaced. Remember, it's in the shit sheet, so it's all bullshit. Don't believe a word of it. It's to make you look where you shouldn't be, where they want you to look, as opposed to where you should be looking as to what they're up to. The scum. Soap exclusive. Corrie Kim quits. Favourite walks after 13 years. Boss begs her to stay. Seems she walks out of everything. She walked out of whatever band she was in, the first made-up band thing. She's walked out of Corrie. Meghan Markle. She gets henna tattoo in Morocco. This is front page news. A parasite with a false strap on gets a tattoo, and we'll put that in the mainstream front page because everyone needs to know that. Express. Leading role for star Glenn's pet. Pip. May goes to the wire on Brexit vote. Look at her sat there, the treasonous traitor. High treason she's committing. Oh, and by the way, the death sentence hasn't been repealed for high treason, just treason. And that's high treason, what her and her lot are up to. Crooks will be spared jail in shake-up. Crime wave fears over abused plan to scrap shorter prison sentences. Duchess dazzles in Dior. Gosh, she's a horrible looking woman. Horrible. Waste of paper star. Oscar, we've been expecting you. Ender's Legacy baby joy. Flakes slam cruel Irwin. What a frigging shit paper. Going after someone that's dead so they can't retaliate or defend themselves. You should be ashamed of yourself, the Star. And if you're buying that shit, you should be ashamed of yourselves. You'll be sorry, son. Done up like a Kepper. Chelsea's goalie refuses to be subbed in cup final. The Times. May delays crucial vote until 17 days before Brexit. Ruled out no deal or face resignations, PM told. The Parasites. Why lefties make a better fist of fighting. Sex education row. Angry parents have suggested that ministers have moved too fast by announcing compulsory sex education that will cover gay and trans relationships. They're pushing their agenda, gay and trans agenda. Frigging locking up the lot of them. Prowler charges. Police investigate a case of a Wimbledon prowler have charged a 41-year-old man from Greater Manchester with 6 burglaries in the South London suburb. Runway distraction. Heathrow's new runway over the M25 may lead to more accidents. ISIS teenagers regret. Shamima Begin, the teenager who joined ISIS in Syria, has said she regrets talking to the media, believing that she has been made an example of by the British government. Really? Venezuela blockade. The Maduro regime, the Maduro president in Venezuela, they call it regime when they want regime change. The Maduro president in Venezuela may face outside military intervention after troops blocked humanitarian aid in violent standoff at the country's borders. It wasn't humanitarian aid, it was a secret military force trying to sneak in, pretending to be humanitarian aid. You seen the picture? France beating all the yellow vests up, democracy. Venezuela, they're all on the streets going, yeah, we love our president. Dictatorship. Don't be fooled by the bullshit in these rags. Bank foot falls on pay gap. The gender gap, pay gap at the Bank of England has widened. Something else to divide and conquer over then, eh? The Guardian. EU chiefs discuss plan to postpone Brexit until 2020. I've been saying this for years now, and they're going to keep pushing it back and pushing it back because there's no chance of us ever leaving until that bitch there is hanging from a rope. And a lot of others from Parliament need to be hanging from a rope as well. Alert over bullying culture in the NHS. Coming back to this, exclusive, Brussels keen to avoid repeated delays as exasperation grows over May's behaviour. Provided leaders are not drawn down with Brexit fatigue and a 3-month extension won't cut it, I'd expect a 21-month delay. They don't want us to leave. They're going to do everything to stop us from leaving because they need us tied into the dictatorship. Because once we leave, of course, under her plan, we ain't leaving. We're staying. Everything stays the same except, oh, apparently there's a piece of paper that says, oh, we've left. But everything stays the same. That's not leaving. That's remaining. Abuse row engulfs Pope. Survivors call for tougher stand against paedophile priests. I've got a far simpler way. Chop the dicks off. Chop the dicks and balls off. And have paedophile tattooed across the forehead. I rape children tattooed across the chin in big bold black letters. And then let them walk the streets. They'll get their justice that way. Anything but independent. It's Groundhog Day in Ergland. Centrism is back in Israeli politics. There is no Israeli politics, it's a dictatorship. The problem with cutting jail terms. My devastating film on Michael Jackson. The PM strikes a determined pose at the opening of the first EU Arab League summit in Sharm el-Sheikh. May's 48 hours to stop cabinet derailing Brexit. I think you're doing a good enough job of that yourself. PM bids to keep no deal on the table as meaningful vote delayed. Again. And look at the smug look on her face, thinking she's getting away with what she's doing. Selling the country out, stabbing us all in the back and then twisting the knife. No. Time to sort her out. And not in that way, are they, you dirty... Aye. More trouble for Labour. Watson presents Corbyn with 50 new cases of anti-Semitism. Piss. I'm sick of hearing about this anti-Semitism bullshit which is totally made up. Scott is under threat. Kennel Club releases list of 29 vulnerable native breeds. Flaming February will today break British records. Not from what I can see outside. Folding phone wars. New Hawaii model to take on Samsung. Yours for just £2,000. Oh yeah, that's going to take them on, that is. Going straight. Why more and more adults are wearing braces. May fears revolt and resignations as she delays vote again. I told you they're just going to keep voting it back, delaying it, pushing it back, unless one of the other European nations leaves. Because as soon as we leave, all the rest will say, I want out of this shit dictatorship. And that's what they're scared of. And so they should be. And we need to hold every single politician to account for their high treason. Fears that Amber Rudd, David Gauke and Greg Clark will rebel after it is confirmed there will be no withdrawal plan this week. Prime Minister faces Wednesday vote on amendment that calls for Parliament to take control of Brexit if no deal by 13th of March. Guy Verhofstadt calls delay reckless as Labour moves towards official backing of a second referendum on the UK exit from Europe. Right. Is anyone going to fall for this second referendum bullshit? We had a referendum and we voted to leave. Once we have left, i.e. cut all ties, borders up, no immigration, we've got control of our waters back, we write our own statutes and acts and we get rid of all of their shit, including VAT, which is a European tax. That needs to be gone straight away. Everything will be 20% cheaper straight off the bat. Anything other than that is high treason and sedition. Leave means leave. The Telegraph. May draws up plans to delay Brexit by 2 months. PM prepares to make formal request to EU in bid to stop ministers quitting over no deal. They're just going to keep pushing it back and pushing it back until we stand up, go to Parliament, drag them out, hang them, and then we can sort everything else out. We then go after these parasitical bastards and hang the lot of them. Me and you and the tattoo. 4 years old to leave perils of social media. To learn perils of social media. China threat needs scrutiny, says spy chief. White boys need extra help, ministers told. They wouldn't if you hadn't allowed all this invasion force to in, would we? They wouldn't need any help. Watson tells Corbyn act on anti-Semitism. The non-existent bullshit made up by the Zionists so that we can just call anyone we like anti-Semitic if there's something they're saying something we don't like. Oh, anti-Semitic. I tell you what, I'm anti-Zionism. Stop calling us Brexiteers, far-right zealots. US warns Maduro his days are numbered. Yes, we want your oil and you won't give it us, so you've got to go. It's time for regime change. It's quite clear you're not being a good American puppet, so you're going to have to go. What do you mean? You want everything good for the people? You meant citizens, you men, women and children that live there? Well, we don't want that. We want your oil, said Donald Trump. Debt-clogged world on brink of recession. There is no debt. None. And the elites know it. And they're scared to death that us will figure that out and we'll go after them and hang them. And that's what needs to happen. There has to be some executions to put the fear of what you've done to us in every single one of you and get you on the run. And when we catch you, your time is numbered. Your days are numbered anyway. Metro. Meg's henna party. Some stupid actress has a henna tattoo, which is not even real. It's just fake. It just lasts a day or two. And that makes mainstream news. That's front page headlines. Can you see why these are just distraction bullshit? Vote on Brexit delayed again. Fury as May pins hopes of EU talks with time running out. The treasonous bitch is working and her plan is going exactly to their plan. Could keep pushing it back and pushing it back and pushing it back. Everyone's had enough and they'll vote to remain now if we have another referendum, won't they? Because they're so pissed off that we haven't left. Because we voted over 2.5 years ago to leave and you've not left. So that means you're not government. You're just treasonous traitors. High treasonous traitors committing sedition. Everyone in Parliament is guilty of this. Ooh, yes. Hanging for sedition and high treason is still on the books for you all. Just recall that. Never forget. Recall that is on the books and we're looking at you all. All of you. And all the royals. And the time is up for you lot. And it's just about to start. Once we get over this little hiccup of you bastards, we're going to start and have the Eden we were supposed to have. FT. Robo recruitment. Can artificial intelligence spot talent? No. Awkward allies. Real politic is pushing the EU to embrace autocrats. Great expectations. True equality means letting women underperform. May holds off vote of Brexit deal to within 17 days of EU departure. Tactical gamble, dismay business. Not a tactical gamble. They've all been sat round the table talking about it. You know, in our country and over in Europe. Right, what we're going to do? Well, you have another delay, and that'll get everyone even more pissed off. And so when we eventually do push for this second referendum vote, that we'll fix. So don't worry about that. We'll fix it. We're definitely fixing it. So even if I suspect though that everyone will be that pissed off, they want to vote to remain just to get out. We're sick of all this Brexit bullshit anyway, but we'll still fix it just to make sure this time. And then this will never raise its head again. We'll never have another referendum on this subject because we'll have them locked in. And that'll lock the rest of the countries up, although I'm a little concerned that France might just want a referendum. But then again, we'll just fix that as well, because that's what we do. We fix things for us. Abiy makes capitalism his model with multi-billion Ethiopia telecoms sell-off. Sounds like a backhander to me. ISIS detainee detentions fuel fear for Iraq's next generation. Absolutely nothing in the papers. Do not waste your time or money on them.